Is it tough to find a soup that everybody in your family likes, something you can whip up in a flash? Today I'm going to show you sausage and lentil stew, something that you can cook in an hour, bag it up, stick it in the freezer, and pull it out for a family-pleasing meal any time of the week. Let's go to the kitchen and I'll show you how. To start our lentil stew, we're going to go ahead and add a couple of tablespoons of olive oil to our skillet. Make sure you're using a real olive oil. There's been some real scandals in the olive oil industry, making sure that you've got a good one, so check your label. This one is from Aldi, but California Olive Kitchen is one of my, Olive Ranch I think is what it is one of my favorites. Once your olive oil is warm, we're going to go ahead and add our sausage. And this is a pound of hot Italian sausage. You can certainly use a mild version if you'd rather, but that works for us. We like it hot. So we're going to break this up and we're going to cook it until there's no pink left and it's all crumbled up, and then I'll show you the next step. So, can you see me? Our sausage is all brown, everything's ready to go. Now there's nothing to drain in here. So a lot of times people ask me, do I need to drain the fat off before I continue with the recipe? No, because there's nothing in here to get rid of. So don't worry about that. If for some reason you have tons of fat floating in yours, go ahead and drain that, but I don't see any reason to do it right now. Now, this just gets easier as we go. The next thing is this gigantic pile of vegetables. So I've got zucchini, carrots, onion, celery, and garlic, and we're just gonna dump all of that into the pot. I love recipes like this, especially ones that we're gonna freeze. They're really easy to put together. It's just so simple. Now, I'm just gonna give those a toss and kind of let them heat up just a second. This dish is really, it eats like a meal. So this is something that we enjoy. If you have people in your family who don't like beans, the lentils are a little bit easier to tolerate because I don't like beans. So this is something that I have learned to really, really love. Next, we're gonna go with our tomatoes. So I've got 2 cans of fire roasted diced tomatoes here. You can use organic ones if you'd like to. You can use ones that you've raised yourself if you have those. That's wonderful. I usually have some, but we didn't have a great garden this year, so I didn't get so many as I'd like to have had. So I'm gonna work that in just a little bit. Then we're gonna go with 6 cups of chicken stock. Now I usually make my own. If you'd like to see my recipe for that, I'll leave a link for you right up here. But if you're not making your own, sometimes you have to find it at the store. I'm gonna see if I can get this on camera where you can see. The ingredients, make sure those ingredients are clean. Are they things you recognize, and do they start with chicken stock? It should have carrot juice and mushroom juice as your first ingredient. It should not have MSG as your first ingredient. So this is one that I don't normally buy, but it's what I got. It's chicken stock, carrots, cabbage, celery, onions, salt, tomatoes, tomato paste, parsley, and thyme. I can pronounce all of those things. This is one that I'll go ahead and use. This is Swanson's, their chicken bone broth. That's what I've got today. If you want to use an organic, by all means use an organic, and if you want to make your own, do that. That's what I almost always do. So we're going to go with 6 cups of chicken stock. That's a box and a half. So I'm going to get all of this in here. And I'll show you how simple it is to wrap this up. Just a few simple spices and herbs will go in next. All right, that's good on there. I'm going to put some salt in. I love my Celtic sea salt. I also love kosher salt if you don't have Celtic sea salt, but you will want to put a little in, give it a little taste, and adjust it to make sure you've got it right. So once we've got all that in, I'm going to add some dried oregano. Absolutely essential you have that. Don't skip it. And then for the basil. Now guys, I live in a place where getting fresh herbs is really hard sometimes. And so I'll use occasionally a stir-in paste. I went to the store to get some fresh basil. It is November. It's of course out of season. And they didn't have any. And so that happens not just for me, but for you. We live in places where it's hard to find the ingredients we need sometimes. So I always say, do the best you can. If you need to get dried basil, use dried. But I have a stir-in paste. And these are they're partially dehydrated versions of the original, but I'm going to put some of that basil in there. It calls for 1/4 cup, and if you've got fresh, please, go there. Then I've got some fresh parsley. I'm going to put that in. And then we're going to add our lentils. Now, these are brown lentils. I have 1.5 cups of brown lentils. You can get these over in your dried beans section of your grocery store. They come in green and brown and red and that sort of thing, but they're only going to take about an hour to cook. So what we're going to do is add these to the pot. This is a lot of soup. In our family of 4, this version will feed us twice. So it's enough for 8 to 10 people, depending on how big you eat. And so I will freeze this in Ziploc bags or an airtight container. I'll half it and just go ahead and bag it up. And then when we're ready to eat it, I will put the whole frozen brick into a pot and just let it simmer down until it's all thawed out. Okay, lid's gonna go on, and this is gonna simmer for 1 hour. After 1 hour, it transforms into the most magical dish. You're gonna love it, and I will show you what it looks like when we get back. See you in a little bit. All right, it's ready. So in about 45 minutes, all we had to do was simmer down the lentils until they got nice and soft, and it may not look like much, but let me tell you, it's good stuff. The last thing we're gonna do is just add a grating of Parmesan. Not the powdered stuff in the can, don't be using that. This is real Parmesan. You can buy this in your grocery store, just about anywhere. So just a little bit of that. Sometimes it's better just to put it on individual bowls as you're serving it, and that's fine too. But I'm just gonna stir that in, I'm just gonna ladle it in. And then we're going to get a bowl. And we're gonna ladle it up. And we're gonna eat it. We absolutely love this one. To freeze it, you're going to want to bring it down to room temperature, which will take a little while. Then, clean your bowl up. Then you're gonna go ahead and place it into an airtight container. I prefer a Ziploc bag for my soup so you can lay it flat and it can freeze flat and then you can thaw it more quickly. Or when you thaw it, you can also just throw it in a pot. Like I said, peel the paper off of it, peel the plastic off, throw it in a pot and let it heat up. It's wonderful. Don't forget to check out the rest of our Stock Your Freezer series. I've got breakfast, lunches, and dinners coming up in this playlist right here that you can check out. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.